Welcome to the Waterproofed podcast, where we talk about waterproofing your deck and waterproofing your life.
All right, how's it going, everybody? This episode's just going to be a little introduction to get to know our CEO, Nolan Rohr. We've had a little bit of podcast experience in the past. We're trying out a new setup, and so far we're liking it a lot better. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came into this business, and just your journey so far.
Sure. So background in farming and growing up in farming. And after that, I did a lot of logging in Canada. Spent about 10 or 12 years up there. Did a lot of logging up there, and then moved back down here to the States and got into working with the product of logging, which is wood, and construction. So we did construction, did that for a number of years from about 2014 till 2022. And then we got out of general construction and we moved into more, waterproofing decks, pretty much exclusively waterproofing decks is our, and we do a few other things. Like it's a very seasonal business. So in the wintertime, we do other things as well. Whatever comes up, basically, like roofing this winter, we did some roofing. So still waterproofing, but not
still waterproofing
decks.
Just
that's right.
Waterproofing the roof instead.
That's right. Exactly.
With regular shingles.
You got it.
Right. And then the product that we use is Duradeck.
That's right.
It's our main thing. It's a Canadian brand, correct?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and that's where I learned to know it when I lived in Canada there. It was a great product. It had a long track record. It has a long track record. It's been around for 50 years, and it withstands the harsh winters of Canada. And I saw it in action up there. I saw it laid out in the dirt and the decks up there, and really awesome product. So when I moved down here and got into construction, I said, you know what, I want to offer that as a service. And we really liked it. We really enjoy installing it and the whole science behind waterproofing a deck. And so we just decided to zero in on it and go all in. So that's where we're at. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the purpose of this podcast is, one, for fun. So obviously it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, it's just going to be education. You know, we want to teach
Yeah.
people about our product and what we do different.
Right.
And but we don't want to bore you guys, so we're going to try and keep it fun and get some pop culture and all that stuff in here. Your background is very interesting. You don't know a lot of pop culture, so I find that kind of fun.
Yeah. So I mean, and another purpose for this podcast is so we want to talk about the science of waterproofing, what our process is, who we are as a company, be transparent about that, and then also, so I'm a Christian and I love teaching people about what God has done for me, and how He's taken control of me, how He's helped me and been my guide in this whole process. Life isn't easy for me, but I have a guide, and I love teaching people about life principles and things that just anything regarding what makes a successful marriage, what makes a successful life, relationships. So you'll be hearing some of that as well.
Good. I think that's probably going to be the main focus of this podcast too. Like, definitely we want to showcase our product and what we can do for people as a service. Right. And then I think your faith is going to play a big role in making this grow as well.
Right. Because, we waterproof decks, but, when you think about, oftentimes the analogy is our life is a ship, is compared to a ship at sea. And that's true. We're heading toward a destination. But if you're taking on water, if you're leaking through, if the boat isn't waterproofed, you're sinking. And, if it's not waterproof, it can lead to disaster, to drowning.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's not good. And so we really love people. We care about people. We serve people in every way we can. And this is one of our mission. That's our mission. And this is one of our ways we do that.
Mm-hmm. One of our outlets.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then going back to you, You lived in Canada for quite a while, but you were
Right.
born here in Pennsylvania, right?
I was born. Yes,
Right.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
did you move to Canada?
I was 22 years old. That would have been in 2002 when I got married. I
Mhm.
married a girl from up there and moved up there and got into a lot of different things, logging
Mhm.
and so on, and had 4 boys
Mhm.
living up there in the 12 years we lived there, and then moved down here in 2014 and had 2 more girls. So we
Mhm.
have 6 children total. So it's great.
It's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
A lot of kids keeps you busy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. Enjoy
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's one thing about this business and working with you, working alongside you. I don't think I've ever seen you just like chilling at
Yeah.
any point.
Yeah.
Always either busy with helping somebody, working, or with your kids and your family. I think it's great.
Yeah. There's and not everything I do is all work. I do chill sometimes, but there's always a long list to do. Yeah. Never. Yeah. And it's one of those things where I'm constantly, finding that balance of, taking some time to chill. I
Mhm.
have to,
Mm-hmm.
but not take too much time.
Right.
And to
Yeah.
do it at the right time, when there's, time management 101.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
Yeah. I definitely struggle with that sometimes,
yeah,
especially
Yeah.
in my off days when I'm just like
yeah,
laying around and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely have to force
Yeah.
myself to get up
Yeah.
sometimes, but
Yeah.
that's just how life goes,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's days that you have, if you have purpose, if there's a purpose that you gotta, for me, it's my children and it's the business, keeping that going, and it's, so there's always, if it's calling for you, if there's work to be done to fulfill the purpose that you were called to do, then there's not too much chilling. But when you feel, well, you just got to refuel your tank, you got to
Mhm.
recharge,
Mhm.
and
Get 8
to
hours
do
of
that,
sleep.
to do that strategically, that's always a challenge
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah, faith definitely plays a big role in having a purpose, and wanting to get up
Yes.
and having that
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's who we are. That's who we strive to be every day, and to live that out. And not perfect, but we love people. We love our customers. I love my guys that I work with
Mhm.
every day, girls, whatever, whoever's on our team. I love working with them. It's not always easy, but it's people first, business second, always.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, just a few minutes ago, you were driving a lady down the road because her car broke down.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a showcase right there.
yeah. Well, you look after the people that God puts in front of you. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. When you came back to the States, what was your first move to get going again? What was your first chess move, your first play?
Sure. So that was, obviously new to the area. Didn't know anybody basically when I
Mhm.
moved down here. Few people I knew a little bit, but I didn't know the area, didn't know the stores, the industry, the culture. So I worked for a local property investor. He has rental properties, still does, in the area, a number of different single families, a little bit of multifamily. But we did that for 6 months. I got my contractor license within that time, but it gave me a chance to just scout the area, scope it out. Okay, what am I working with? What are the vendors to work with? See where the opportunities were, and that's how I started. So jumped in with both feet, you could say, but at the same time, just took some time before I went out on my own to figure out the landscape.
Clearly, you were already established to some point, right? Moving here with 4 kids already. So jumping in with both feet was a good risk to take at that time.
Sure, yeah, and I had did some construction in Canada before I moved here, so I knew what I was doing in a lot of things. I mean, obviously wasn't hadn't been doing it a lot of years, but did enough that I was fine on my own, or I felt comfortable going on my own. So yeah.
Right. And you grew up on a construction background a little bit, right? I mean, like building barns. I know it was in farming, but had to
Yes.
build stuff then too.
Right. Yeah. No, we did that on the farm. We built our own. We got some help in, or we got some contractors in. My uncle specifically, and so, but we helped him all the time. And so yeah, we built pole barns, interior of our house, helped him remodel. Just a lot of. I get into a lot of different. Yeah. So I was familiar with the construction, but construction in there is different than construction out here. But by and large, there's a lot of similarities.
Right. There's a lot of stuff that
there's nuances.
crosses over.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I feel like it's only right to explain our product, right? Exactly what we do.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. So our what we do for the waterproofing specifically, we use as Caden said, we use a Duradeck as you said, we use the Duradeck brand. It's a membrane type of waterproof deck. So first of all, we build the deck with just like a normal deck. You put your posts, your beam, your joists, and then instead of putting your deck boards on, whether composite or cedar or pressure treated or something like that, we install 3/4 plywood over top of the joists. Glue that, screw it down. And it's ACX plywood, so it's a very smooth surface. And then we glue down this membrane, and it's a 60 mil thick, so it's a really heavy, durable vinyl product. Comes in 6 foot wide rolls. So most decks we end up having seams in it, and we heat weld those seams together, and glue it down, as I said, and then it's a very solid. The membrane becomes part of the deck, so it can't slide, it doesn't skid, it is, and it's textured so you can walk on it and have good traction. Doesn't get slippery when it's wet. And it comes in like 20 different colors. So, and the colors are all the same as far as pricing and durability. And speaking of durability, we had one in Seattle. It wasn't one that we did, but it was one that another contractor had installed, and it was 41 years old and still waterproof. And as I understand the story behind that, the only reason they changed it out is just because of the color. They wanted something new, but it was still waterproof at 41 years old. And that was the older original Duradeck. So that was actually a thinner product than what we install now. So theoretically, what we install now is going to last longer than that.
Yeah.
So
it'll last a lifetime pretty much.
Yeah. I sleep good at night. It is a really good product. And traffic, children, dogs, pets, it's not a problem. They won't touch it. It's a very durable. Now, I mean, obviously, you have to treat it like any other deck.
Yeah, clean it every once in a while, just with a push broom or
right. And furniture don't have real sharp feet on it. Treat it like you would a cedar deck, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, if you drop a coal on it when you're grilling, it
Exactly.
might melt through potentially.
Right, but that's an easy fix because this product is vinyl, so it's easily
you can patch it.
You patch it, heat weld it, and it'll be like new again.
There's a lot of not really misconception, but for some of these vinyl materials, they need an open flame to weld. That's not something that we do. We use a heat gun.
Yeah,
you have to be. Yeah, it's just hot air. You have to be certified to do it.
Right.
So no open flames. That's always nice.
Exactly.
Well, this first episode is just kind of an introduction. We'll get more into faith and decking and the industry in later episodes.
Right.
But so this is just a nice little short one, just an introduction.
And reach out anytime to me, to us, if you have any questions on waterproofing decks or patios. Any questions, feel free anytime, or waterproofing your life, faith, and all things. Yeah. Any life questions, happy to help, happy to do what we can, share with you what God's did for me, and how he's been my help and my guide, and he can be yours too.
Yeah. So yeah, the email will be up on the screen. Should see it right above us. And that seems like it'll be it.
That's great.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next time.
See you later.